All right, everybody. Welcome to Good Movies Podcast with Kenny and Mike and myself from Low IQ Media. How's everybody doing tonight?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Trying to snazz up my intro, but
Yeah.
every time, like I could rehearse something a million times. As soon as the camera comes on, I'm like, freeze up. I don't know why.
Yeah. Stage
I'm not
fright.
even. I'm not even nervous. I'm not even really that nervous. I've done it enough times now, but whatever.
I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah, I'm not either. So, yeah, I mean, we're kind of free balling right now, trying to work into a format and try to decide what we want to do. Like last week was our first show with me and Kenny, and hopefully Mike will be joining us most weeks, and
I'll
And,
try. Yeah.
and we're just going to be here talking about movies and anything else. But this week, I think we were going to try to talk about kind of the bombs of summer, the movie flops, and kind of talk about kind of the box office this year and this different things like that. So there's quite a bit to talk about this year, especially at the box office with the kind of the record-setting Barbie out there, surprisingly, and well, I guess it's surprisingly. I don't know. The first movie I think Hollywood's actually made for women in a long time,
Mhm.
not the movies they think they want to make for women, like girl boss movies and girls are stronger than men type movies. Girls don't really like that. They want to have some guy without a shirt on, just like kind of guys want girls without their shirts on. Girls want the same thing,
Yeah.
and those type of movies sell. So I don't, so it's not surprising that it's doing well, and it's got a lot of pink in it, women like that, and I think it's a better movie than a lot of people are trying. A lot of people are like, trying to push back on it hard, and I think a lot of these guys are they're a little bit wrong on it. They're not 100% wrong, but you know, it's not exactly the movie they think it is. But everybody has their own opinion, and there's a lot of opinions out there right now about it. So,
Yeah.
so what do you guys think about this year in
Now,
movies?
now going into the summer, which were your top three movies that you thought this summer was going to be number?
Um, That's hard to say. Well, like Mission Impossible, I thought was going to do a lot well, and that's definitely on the kind of the bomb list for me
Mm-hmm.
because it's definitely became a bomb. And what seems like hurt it so bad was Sound of Freedom. It's because I think Sound of Freedom took its audience away a little bit, and it came out the same weekend, and nobody had any idea that Sound of Freedom was going to do so well.
Right. Yeah, I'm really stunned how Indiana Jones just flopped.
Yeah.
I just figured with the last outing for Harrison Ford, and everybody liked except the fourth one, the other three. I just really thought that that would be the summer, you know, winner by far. I'm really surprised how that flopped.
Yeah. Um, did you say ones you're surprised about that bombed or?
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, probably Indiana Jones. Uh, Indiana Jones and
the Flash too.
yeah, The Flash and seems like there was something else. I can't think of what it.
Little Mermaid flop,
Yeah,
pretty much.
Well, yeah, I kind of figured that.
Fast
Well,
10
I
kind
mean,
of bomb too.
just knowing the kind of the backstory behind Indiana Jones, we all kind of figured it was going to flop too, just because just Disney's messages, all the kind of stuff they put in them. Of course, I haven't seen it, so I can't be 100% judge, but I've seen a lot of the pretty much complete breakdowns of the movie, so I know most of what goes on in it. So
yeah,
Now,
basically,
I have a question.
I think they were trying to. Oh, it's okay. I think they were trying to squeeze every last drop of life out of Harrison Ford, milk it for what they can, but I kind of heard that he was basically just following the the female lead around through the movie. Like he was kind of
Yeah.
not his usual, knows what he's doing. He's kind of, doting around like an old, man or something, That's what I heard. I hadn't seen it either.
I haven't seen it either, but they were saying that they were trying to work a sequel with the girl, like into like a series, like spawn a series from that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what you say, Mike, has like a lot of credence, with that, because if he was following the girl around, he was probably trying to show her the pointers of it.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Yeah. There was early rumors that it was like Harrison Ford was going to die in it, and basically,
oh really?
Phoebe Waller-Cates was going to take his place as Indiana Jones, and like I think it like scripts leaked. There's a lot of people. Some of the people I listen to, they claim to have leaks. They claim to have insiders, and sometimes they're accurate, and sometimes they're not. But like in on that, it had a bunch of reshoots. It ended up being, I think, the production cost, not the total cost with advertising and everything, was like 250 or close to 300 million or some crazy number like it. It was massive budget, and it was way up there. And they say you can basically double that price for your total production cost after, well, not production, but your total cost after advertising production to some degree. So for it to make a profit, I think it was going to have to almost hit 500, 600 million or something like that, or to break even.
The budget was 300 million and it grossed 368.
Yeah, I was trying to see where it currently is. It's
their
total gross 171. That's, I think, 171. I think that's domestic only of what I'm showing here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think the only way to break even the studio is probably the worldwide totals and stuff. Once all that gets in, and so a lot of times the studios in the past would make up a lot of money with DVD sales and stuff back, 15 years ago. But it's a different world now with that. So
yeah, and are we even going to get a physical copy of Indiana Jones? For Disney. Because that was a question I was going to bring up to you guys. With Disney, do you think the whole I didn't understand it. I was talking to John last week, Mike, about the woke society. I didn't know what that was. Okay, but do you think that was with the old Disney boss or with Iger? Coming in, because it looks like Iger is trying to clean up a lot of the stuff from the past, administration.
No, Iger started the woke stuff. He started it.
Did? Okay, I wasn't sure. Okay.
Yeah, he's been the forefront of it. A lot of people thought that he just handed over the rings during COVID to try to let the other guy kind of take the fall, and then he kind of came back in and tried to be this savior, but he's not. He's the one that's caused it to begin with. So
yeah, that might be a sign that they're desperate, so they bring him back in before it gets too far, But I think Kathleen Kennedy had a lot to do with just kind of messing up the whole Star Wars and Indiana Jones, and just, I don't know. I don't know, man. She just put like some kind of jinx on all that stuff, and it's just not been that great, all of it. So, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's a combination. It's not just one man standing at the top saying, hey, you guys need to do this. It's a lot of pressure from a lot of it's just like ESG investment. I don't know if you know about that, but that's where a lot of this woke stuff stems. It's sorry how to explain it, but it's basically, it's all this like environmental and socialism, activism type of stuff wove into stock trading. It was developed by BlackRock. You may have heard of BlackRock, but they developed this ESG system. It's basically like a stock rating system, and the higher your ESG score is, the more likely people are going to invest in your company. But it's all backed by all this nonsense. So it's pushing a lot of this, and it's really what's kind of, I think, forced like places like Anheuser-Busch and stuff to do what they did with Bud Light and
Oh
things
yeah.
like this is what's driving it. And it's just it's had a catastrophic effect. I mean, we do have some companies kind of trying to pull away from it a little bit, but they, like BlackRock owns freaking everything. They're like one of the wealthiest companies in the world at this point, just because of this.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So, yeah, but there's a lot of cogs in the wheels at Disney. Anyways, they've hired a lot of, like, instead of hiring talented people, they've hired basically just activists in there that are making stuff, and the writers are activists. Then they've destroyed. Well, I mean, the whole comic book industry destroyed through Marvel and DC and other entities, at least in the mainstream comic space.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Kathleen Kennedy just never. I don't know. There's been some weird stuff come out with George Lucas when it comes to like how somebody, some insider had, like, they had, I seen an interview other day where they were talking about how he never wanted to sell the company. He ever wanted to sell it, but I don't know if he got duped into selling it or just it looked one of those kind of looked good on paper. I think he actually tried to back out of it, but he initially tried to back out of it, but he was at the point in the acquisition where if he'd have backed out of it, he would have got charged. He would have got basically sued for a bunch of money.
Yeah.
So he was forced into going through with it, and
Yeah.
Disney just didn't do anything. You know, after they instead of like taking this established model, they just threw it up in the air and, like, you know, we're not going to listen to anything that came before us. We're just going to do our own thing, and didn't even
Well,
take any of his suggestions for the next series of movies, and it just
yeah.
became a disaster.
I mean, if you remember Kathleen Kennedy back in like the 80s and 90s when she was part of Amblin with Steven Spielberg and
Frank
somebody
Marshall.
else. I mean, Frank Marshall. That was a good team, you know,
Yeah.
and they put out quality movies and TV shows, and everything was successful. You know, everything was made money. Everybody was happy. You know, audience was happy. Studios were happy. But I think now that she's on her own and maybe she's got her own little team and it's not the dream team like it was in the past. So I don't know. Maybe she don't. I can't blame her in particular, but I'm just using her as an example because
Right.
she came from such a successful run, you know, for over 30 years that you would think, you know, she knows what she's doing, but I don't know. Sometimes I think about it. I try not to think about it too hard though, but you know, it's just.
I don't know if she ever really did anything back in those days. She was only like a producer, so
Yeah,
she didn't really direct movies. She didn't really, you know. I just don't.
She wasn't like solely in charge, but she threw in her little input. She was just big buddies with Steven Spielberg, so she was kind of a yes woman, I guess. You know, that looks cool.
Yeah.
But nowadays it's like a template, man. Hollywood uses a template that, you know, it has to have this, and this in it. Every movie, and you got to work in this, and it's so unoriginal and just, I don't know. I haven't really watched new movies that heavily in a long time. I just haven't. I went and saw the Guardians Volume 3, and then I saw the new Spider-Verse movie in the theater. And I thought they were both pretty good. I wanted to see Oppenheimer, but I didn't get a chance to get it. I wanted to see it in IMAX, but they didn't have it in my area. So, but I don't know. I catch a lot of stuff on the flip side, like on video or on streaming or something here and there. But I don't know. I just wish it would. Hollywood's in a lot of trouble in a way. They're just boring, really, if you think about it. You know what I mean? Overall, it's just a lot of stuff is not exciting anymore. No good writers, and I don't know. They're just. I think I'm just an old man now. I'm like, back in my day, they knew how to make movies.
There's
but
not an original.
explains
You're right,
everything.
Mike. There's not an original thought out there in Hollywood.
Well,
Everything's like recycled.
yeah, it started with them making movies out of old TV shows. That's kind of where I first started seeing it. Their kind of decline. You know, they were turning every TV show into a movie, and then it was this, and then it was that.
Yeah, Mod Squad, Miami Vice, Starsky and Hutch.
Yeah, and some of them were pretty good actually. Some of them were better than the TV show itself, but for the most part, they were all forgettable. You know,
Yeah.
like 21 Jump Street, that movie. I thought it was pretty funny, pretty good. You know, it was based on that show, and I thought maybe it was a little bit better than the show. You know, back in the 80s and stuff, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not a big Jonah Hill guy. If I see him in a movie, it just turns me off instantly.
Oh,
Not a fan of his. There's
yeah,
two actors like that for me: James Franco and Jonah Hill.
yeah,
As soon as I see their name on something, I won't watch the movie.
yeah. It's funny they're in a lot of movies together though. That's what's funny about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never minded both of them. I always liked James Franco because he was in Freaks and Geeks. It was really
I
good.
like that. I'm lying about that. I did like Freaks and Geeks, but I just there's just something about him and especially Jonah Hill I just don't care for.
Well, Franco was pretty good in 127 Hours, where he got stuck in the mountain. That ridge, it was based on a true story. Remember, he fell down into this mountain ravine and got wedged, and he had to like cut his arm off and stuff.
Yeah,
that was pretty good though.
Yeah,
with him.
Yeah, that was pretty good. He was good in The Disaster Artist too.
Oh yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah.
But I like all those goofy comedies too, like the I was about to say Sugarland Express, but the other one,
Pineapple Express.
Pineapple Express, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of those early ones, a lot of them have Jonah Hill in it, but some of them are, you know, pretty good. But I guess they're both hit or miss with me, you know. They're just
Superbad's really funny. That's Jonah Hill, and
but I think it had a lot to do with the director. Who was that? Made
Judd Apatow, right?
Yeah. He made a lot. He was on a winning streak there for a while, and he was turning out all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
I think once he made Funny People, that kind of went down the drain after that.
Yeah, it was trying to be serious and funny at the same time, and
I didn't get it.
Yeah, it's not a repeat movie for me because once you kind of know, it's kind of like, and it's sad too. There's some sad parts.
Oh yeah,
heart wrenching. You know.
And I didn't really care for This Is 40 either. And I like both of the leads in it. I just didn't care for the movie at all.
Oh yeah. Parts of it were pretty good. Yeah, I think what was it, Judd?
Paul Rudd and
Paul Rudd
and his wife. Who the hell is it? I can see her. She's the Hooters girl in Big Daddy.
Yeah. I can't think of her name.
Yeah.
Leslie. It's Leslie something.
Leslie Mann.
Leslie Mann. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, parts of that was pretty good, but yeah.
Yep.
So I don't know. Some actors are the same thing with me. I mean, I either just don't want to watch it because they're in it, or it's hit or miss, you know, with me. And it's like that with some classic stars. Like, I don't know, like Joan Crawford. I like her in some movies, but I don't like her in everything. And Katharine Hepburn, don't like her in everything. I like her in some stuff. And then the other person's Maureen O'Hara.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't like her in everything for some reason. But what I do like her in, she's, you know, The Quiet Man, stuff like that. She's really good in it. So,
for me, the classic one is Bette Davis. There's something about her that I just didn't really care for.
Yeah, she's kind of like that with me too. Yeah. I like her in some stuff, but some things I don't know.
It was just like too over dramatic for me.
The melodramatic stuff.
Yeah, you got it, the melodramatic.
Yeah. But I don't know. There, I have a list of different stuff, but I try not to be too critical on people. You know, they're all good actors and actresses, but it's just, you know, like I really like Katharine Hepburn in The African Queen and Bringing Up Baby, and well, there's a handful of other good ones she's in, but you know, as many movies as she did, I'm just not like, oh wow, Katharine Hepburn, I got to watch this one.
Trying to see.
We were talking about since yesterday. My favorite movie of all time is Uncle Buck. Okay, so we were talking about John Candy, and there hasn't been a movie that like, yeah, he's made really bad movies, Delirious, but there's like some that just because he's in it, you want to watch the movie, you know. But yeah, there's been a couple of his stinkers throughout watching.
Sometimes an actor or actress can really make the movie better, and can turn it around a little bit. It could have a really bad script, but somehow the actor or actress just really, I don't know, does something with it, you know, in their own way.
And it can be kind of vice versa, that where you have a really good director, not a great actor, but the director can direct that bad actor into a good role, you know.
Or hold them back from a good role, you know, or making it better or something also. But yeah, I don't know. There's just so many movies that I don't know. It's hard to watch them all, getting time wise and stuff. And anymore, it has to be really something interesting to get me to the movies, or to watch it. My time is, time really is precious more as you get older, and it's like, do I want to waste 2 hours on this, or do I want to, it's kind of like that with me anyway.
Yeah, I haven't been in a few weeks to the theater. I don't know why. There's been a few movies I kind of want to see, but like the TMNT movie, I kind of want to see that, but I know it's so kind of so-so. And the Meg 2 is the same way. The Meg 2 I actually really wanted to see, but then it got kind of bad reviews, and it just supposedly has bad CG and stuff, which I might still see it eventually. I am kind of looking forward to seeing there's the movie that comes out this week, the Gran Turismo.
Oh, okay. Out. Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
And it's actually getting pretty good reviews. It's actually supposed to be pretty good based on a video game, It says it's based on a true story, but I don't know what that means. I don't know if the game was based on some kind of true story, or
if it's based on a racer, maybe, Turismo racing or whatever, whatever it is in Europe. It could be, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's supposed to be like at the beginning, like, there's the main character is like really good at the video game and racing video games, and then he gets like recruited to actually like try out to race a real car. And so I think that might be a real story. I think they may have tried that at one time, because something like that. So,
well, those would be the movies I would go see now, like a movie that's got some cars in it, or it's got a lot of good sound, that you can't get anywhere else but in the theater, or you got a lot of action, like the Top Gun Maverick, when that came out. That was a perfect movie to go in theater and see. And I might would go see Meg 2, because that might, even though it may not be that great, but it still might be fun just to see it on the big screen, and
yeah, that's what I like. I do like seeing those. It don't have to be like this Academy Award-winning movie to see it. I mean, but it's just, I don't know, here lately, sometimes you just get, I don't know, but it's burnout or just, I don't know. There's just something about these new movies that just don't compel me to go to the theater.
Yeah.
As much as it used to.
I'm almost the opposite. I almost need a movie that's not necessarily been well received by everyone, but just something that you know, is good, you know, because if me and the whole family is going to go to the movies, for example, that's going to be, you know, over $100 plus all the kids always want everything because concession. So it's going to cost you quite a bit. So, I mean, if you want to, you know, not be totally disappointed, then yeah, I mean,
yeah.
But I'm kind of dealing with that though, you know, dealing with other people and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I went to Louisville to a museum and watched Raging Bull by myself, and
yeah,
it was a small little theater, and it was I had a good time with it. It looked great, and just seeing it on the big screen, and it was the new 4K print that Criterion put out. It was a digital print, and man, that thing, it just looked great. The fight scenes, that black and white, you can't. Wow, it was well worth it though. But I only paid like $5 though to get in there, so it wasn't. You know, that was really
that's
cheap.
pretty nice.
Yeah,
that's pretty nice. Yeah.
Now, do you guys see, Mike? You brought up a good point with going to see like a classic movie like Raging Bull. Do you think that the Hollywood, especially now with the strike and all that, do you think if they say had like during COVID, I know some movie theaters had like Back to the Future and Jedi and Empire. Do you think like the classic movies that people have at like home and stuff, but just want to go for like, say you like your kids, okay? They've probably never seen Star Wars in a big theater. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think that would entice moviegoers to go see, like, hey, Star Wars, 2 weeks, playing at your local cinema?
Yeah, I think Star Wars can do it. Actually, gosh, when was it? I think my son was 6, and they started they were going to bring back all the movies and show them in theaters for a short period of time, and they showed. We got to see the second one, part 2, on the theater. What was that? Attack of the Clones,
yeah,
or whatever that was. So we saw that, and then they stopped it. It was going to be like all of them and stuff, and they only ended up showing 2, I think. I want to say that was like 2008, 2010, something like that. And but he got to see that one anyway on the big screen. I mean, he was born in 06, so that came out in like, was it 02, 03 or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's technical, but yeah, I would go and see them.
Yeah, heck, if they put like Raiders up, for a weekend, I'd go again. To see that. And I had already seen it when it came out because I was a little kid, but still.
Mm-hmm.
I'd go see that again, and like you said with Raging Bull, I'd go see that. I'd go see like Space Odyssey if they do that. Like they don't have like barring your point, they had I went to see Guardians 3 on a Saturday night. It was 9:00 at night. There was nobody in the movie theater. Like nobody in the concourse buying. Like the only thing was our church group that went to see Guardians. There was 8 of us, and that was it. And it was just like I said to my cousin, I said, "It's 9:00 on a Saturday night, and in the old days, it would be bustling with teenagers and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
There was nobody in there except our group.
Yeah,
it was just really odd. It felt like going to a ghost town and you're going to see a movie by yourself.
Yeah.
It was really odd.
Well, that's the way it was in my town growing up because there was nothing for kids to do, and everybody, like you said, would go to the movies and hang out. All the teenagers, they'd be outside hanging out in groups and be inside and
going to the arcade to play and
arcade, and just I don't see that happening anymore as far as teenagers like that. But yeah, that was a big deal, back in the day. Just parents would drop you off or something, you'd hang out for a while, and but yeah, I think we'd be surprised if the studios did release, some of the big titled older movies. I think people really would go back to the theater, even in the 80s stuff. Like if they put Die Hard out, the first one, I think a lot of people would go see that.
Oh, I agree with you.
Because everybody loves that, and
Say they had like a Saturday afternoon film festival with a double feature. That's another thing. Double features they don't do anymore. You could have like a double feature of 16 Candles and Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
In theaters. I mean, I think they would actually make money because you're getting like people our age now that have kids that want to show them these movies. The way we watched them.
Yeah, but it's a lot. Our kids though, they don't really want to like hang out in public a lot.
That's
they want to mount up in front of the computer and they talk to all their friends online, and a lot of kids anyway. So, but yeah, that I don't know that they might do that, but it would cost them so much money. But I think it's cheaper now with digital prints, than them hauling around like 10 big film rolls, shipping it to city. So, I mean, it could happen. It just, it'd have to take somebody to really take a chance on it probably, or they would look at it as a chance, but yeah, I think that's a good ideal actually, because anytime you see a retro theater play some, they have a summer movie thing and they're going to play like Alfred Hitchcock movies all summer, people really turn out to that stuff, because I went to a couple of those a few years ago, and Saturday afternoon, Saturday night, theater was packed with people wanting to watch Rear Window and Psycho, and So I mean,
the Kentucky Theater in Lexington, they have like a summer. They show a lot of old movies in the summer. It's like I forget what it's like, Summer Movie Fest or something they call it, but they have like a different movie each week play. But I haven't been going where I don't live there anymore, and it's like downtown. It's kind of a pain in the butt to park, and you have to pay to park, so it's kind of aggravating. Well, you could probably find some place to park someplace on the street, but you know how that is. But there's a parking garage right next to it. I mean, it's really the cost of parking. It's just kind of a pain in the butt to go to. So I kind of quit going. But we used to go all the time because they would have like Friday and Saturday night midnight movies, and they would show like an older movie for midnight. So it was really cool.
Yeah. A few years ago, they had all the Universal monster movies, Frankenstein and Dracula, and a whole bunch of them. And you could buy a pass, like a summer pass, and you could see all of them. You just come up there. It was like every Friday and Saturday or something. And that was really cool, and like I said, there was just tons of people turning out to see a 1931 movie. I don't know. It could happen. Yeah, it's possible.
Let's see here. Have you guys seen the All Nighter? Susanna Hoff.
Oh, I did. Yeah, I seen that in high school.
Yeah, I remember it. Yeah,
I ordered it on Blu-ray. I've never saw it. I was watching a documentary about her. I had no idea. I kind of knew that her mom was in the movie business, but I didn't know they ever made a movie. Because I've never looked up any pictures of her or anything. Like, she looks pretty good in that movie, apparently.
Oh yeah.
I heard that she is from like a movie family, and she really knows a lot about classic Hollywood. I forgot the interview I ran across, and it was like I was shocked, and she still looks great.
And she married a director too. She married Jay Roach.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
he did all the Austin Powers movies for people out there. Because he's really good. I think he's best friends with Mike Myers in real life.
Yeah. Do you think they could do an Austin Powers movie in this day and age?
No.
Like the original or the second one were the raunchiest ones, but politically incorrect to the max. I don't know if they could do it anymore. It would just.
No, people get offended over the littlest things now, and I just couldn't see, like say like Pussy Galore or what was
Fat Bastard and Goldmember, and yeah, there was a bunch of like names
I was
like
trying.
that.
I was trying to think of Liz Hurley's name in the movie. She had like a really risque name too.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
I'll
yeah.
have to look it up here in a second. Well, if they made a remake to it, these days they could just hire Lizzo for fat bastard part, so they wouldn't even have to wear a fat suit.
Yeah. Keep no CGI there. But yeah, it probably wouldn't make it past the final script. I think if they tried to write it from the same way, like if it just picked up from 1999 or whatever, when the first one, 97, when the first one came out and had a script. I mean, I don't know. I couldn't see it.
Because like one of my favorite movies is Arthur with Dudley Moore.
Mhm.
That wouldn't even be touched near the talking stages
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
With him being a drunk and everybody thinking it was funny and stuff, they could never do that.
Yeah.
To that.
It would be, they would be worried about getting him help and putting him in rehab and turning his life around. And it would, plus Dudley Moore is hard to, it's like Christopher Reeve as Superman. It's sometimes you can't think of anybody else doing that, but there are other good Supermen, but it's just, I don't know. For me, I always just think of Christopher Reeve first.
Exactly.
Elizabeth Hurley, her name was just Vanessa Kensington in it. But Heather Graham was also in that one, and her name was Felicity Shagwell. So
there you go.
That might get by.
Trying to see who else.
I still bring up little scenes from that, like Swedish Made. What was it? Swedish Made penis pump or something like that. I'll be in the store with my wife, and I'll say something like that, and it's just randomly come off with some crazy scene from Austin Powers.
I just liked how all the product placement and stuff, like when he was like walking nude across the room and he was like, she was carrying like the apples or, something.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that was clever. I mean,
very clever.
I can't think of anything that I've seen that has been clever in a comedy like that for a while.
Yeah. And I guess that's where I'm at with newer stuff. I guess originality, cleverness, just good acting, the right people. I don't know. It's like Hollywood's kind of lost its soul somehow along the way. I don't know. I mean, everybody might be worried about how much money it makes all the time. I mean, that's what we all think about. It's like, oh, it didn't make $2 billion today, so it's a flop. I mean, it might be a good movie though, but it's judged by the money,
Well, they've taken on like the government kind of spending, like they've taken on the role of how, or they kind of started working how the government works, the way they spend. Like they just throw money at something instead of having a budget and making that director come in on their budget. They just keep throwing money at a project. If it's, they keep letting it have reshoots instead of having a competent director that makes the movie correctly in the first place. And these movies are costing way too much money. The whole point of CG in the first place was to save money, but now it's costing them way more money, and we're getting crappy CG because they're pumping out everything CG. Television shows CG. Movies, all the movies have CG in them, and like every shot of the movies are CG instead of just having practical and CG worked in. Everything's CG, and it's costing them a fortune to make these movies, and they're just bad. People would, if they had well written movies, people would let them get by with some of the bad CG sometimes, but the movies are poorly written on top of having bad visual effects. So I mean, it's just a culmination of things. It's like they forgot how to make movies.
Well, I was thinking this past summer when I saw, I think it was Guardians 3, and we was watching the credits, waiting for the extra scene, And I was looking at all the names credited in there. And if you think about it, you're thinking, man, how much money did each one of these people get paid? Because there's just thousands and thousands in the credit. And you're just like, man, it's like everybody couldn't have made great money. You know, it'd been no way they could have paid everybody. You know what I mean? It was just, you know, Guardians is of course going to make a lot of money, but at the same time, they have like 500 people that are doing one job, you know, and as many people as it takes to make a big budget or a big movie, you know, nowadays is wow, it blew my mind a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, a lot of it's overseas though, you know, they send off a lot of stuff to be done overseas, but
Lucasfilm actually, they had a studio that they did that it was part of Lucasfilm in Singapore, I believe.
Oh wow!
And they just sold it off. They just had to sell it off. I don't know if it's necessarily because of the money they're making or anything, but they just recently had to sell it off. But it's like a Singapore facility that they've had for a long time. I think that even existed back in the the George Lucas days. So it's just a company they had. I guess that I don't know what they were doing over there. So I guess visual effects, digital effects and stuff. But it's just I just because you look at Lord of the Rings where they use it's very heavily it doesn't have a lot of special effects. It's very heavily practical effects. You know, it's got a lot of modeling, great costuming, great writing. You know, you would think the sky, you know, the industry kept getting better, but I think it's regressed since that point to some degree, except for, you know, some of the Marvel movies before Disney. After Disney, Marvel kind of went downhill. There was a few good movies in there, but, you know, but after that, you know, after Thanos, after the phase 1 through 3, the phase 4 has just been god awful.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. Yeah. My son's like religious about all the comic book stuff, and I'll start a mild argument with him sometimes because he believes one way and he can't change his mind, and so I just let him, you know. But
well, I listen.
That's basically what I was saying. I didn't like phase 4 or whatever phase we're at now. I just haven't, other than the new Guardians and stuff, and like movies like Morbius just wasn't good, and you know, the first Venom.
Well,
you know.
I mean, obviously Guardians was good, but that's kind of a outlier. You know, it's almost like that movie didn't even really fit with phase 4. That movie almost belonged in phase 3. You know, it felt like a different era of the MCU. You know, of course, you know, things that happened like the blip and everything. It obviously happened, but other than that, it felt like it existed in a different paradox than what we currently are in. And I don't want them to do the X-Men or the Fantastic Four, even though they are casting for the Fantastic Four right now. And hopefully they let somebody competent do it, but I highly doubt it.
Yeah. And maybe the same stuff. I don't know. I just hope Wolverine is still going to be, what's his face? Hugh Jackman. Yeah. Because like him and like Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man, and they're just so iconic. I couldn't see somebody else putting a suit on, you know, and doing it the same.
Yeah, I don't really care if they place Hugh Jackman because they'll have to replace him because he's not going to do it past the Deadpool movie. He is in a Deadpool movie coming up.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
But it's going to be kind of in these multiverses. It's going to be like it's going to be kind of the X-Men from that universe, you know, from the early X-Men movies. It's going to be that universe kind of mixed in. That's how they've been playing everything, you know, kind of even in DC, they've been doing that stuff. But it's going to be kind of like that.
Yeah.
I can't think of that director's name. I'm sorry. Yeah, the first X-Men movie. Bryan Singer. Yeah. Oh, Kitty Fiddler Singer.
Yeah. I don't think he's going to be doing anything for a while. I don't think. I don't know. Who knows? I thought he was a pretty decent director, though, on those.
Yeah.
I thought he did pretty good, but it's like, it's private life, you know?
Yeah, that movie he did with Ian McKellen and the kid. I can't think what's the name of that. The
Oh, Apt Pupil.
Apt Pupil. Yeah, that was really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, my brain ain't functioning right.
Mine doesn't half the time, dude.
Yeah. This evening, I'm forgetting everything. But
Oh,
which
yeah,
is go ahead.
I was thinking something just a second ago. I'm hoping that DC can really establish itself with, you know, it just seems like DC is hit or miss with their movies. You know what I mean? Like, because originally I was more of a DC fan, and I like both Marvel and DC, but I kind of want to see DC turn out the big movies, you know, like Marvel's doing. I don't know what the problem is on their side of things, you know. It's just
well, James Gunn's not starting out too well with this Blue Beetle movie, you know. See,
oh,
James Gunn likes these oddball characters, and all he has to do is make a good Trinity, 3 good Trinity movies with Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman. That's all he needs to make is 3 good classic versions of those characters, and
restart
that's what the big fans want. The modern audience, they don't give a fuck about nothing. They Hollywood wants to make everything for the modern audience, but the modern audience, all they care about is their damn phones. And what's on their phones. They don't care about these superhero movies too much. They might go see one if it's a big hit, you know, if a bunch of people are talking about it. But other than that, they don't really care because they're not reading the comics. The comic industry is about dead, you know, because they've got so woke that it's not even funny, you know, where you got gay Wolverine, you know, you got stuff like that. They've made all the characters, half the characters gay.
Yeah. Gay or a woman or
something. They just have bisexual. Is Batwoman gay or something now too?
I don't know. I can't keep up with all of it.
Oh she was in that show for sure.
Yeah,
that one they had on the CW.
Yeah.
Somebody I watch used to cover that, and good lord, that show looked terrible.
Yeah, it's just. It just doesn't have to be so much, man. It's almost too obvious, you know. Hollywood's kind of. That's why I was saying like a template. It's like they have to put this template on it and paint in these characters. If not, then you know it just takes away something from the story and the whole premise of making a movie and a story. You know, it's like seeing product placement or something. You know.
Well, I almost think Hollywood's they're trying to overcorrect from their mistakes of the past, like way overcorrect for them. Like, you know, obviously Hollywood in the past, they were racist. They had a lot of but these people, they were racist, they were sexist, they did all kinds, you know, I hate putting out those words, but they were. I mean, you know, when you look into the history of Hollywood, it's pretty bad the way they treated people and what they did, you know.
Yeah.
So it's almost like an overcorrection to that point. I think that's part of what's going on. They think they had to go all the way to the opposite side of where they were instead of trying to meet in the middle ground and you know just have good, you know. So now they're trying to appease like a certain group of people, with a certain group of people are a very minute part of the population. So you're either offending or you're just turning off the biggest part of your audience.
Yeah. But see, I wonder sometimes does that audience that they're shooting for, do they really care? You know, do they really care? I mean, a very small group of people would be like, oh, finally they did this, but it's not changing anything. It's just, they're just trying to appease. And I don't know. It's just, it's so lopsided and everything. And the whole thing of art, you know, it's like we shouldn't burn every film from the past 100 years that was slightly racist or anything, like burning books, you know, or paintings or anything that offends you. It's like we just got to kind of move on and not be so overtly, you know, I don't know. It's just they forget about art and expression and stuff sometimes, and now it's more of product. It's product, you know. Like,
And they have to realize that was the way the world was at that point.
Yeah.
it's a
You know?
reflection of the world
Mhm.
at that time, you know.
It's like they're kind of they want to change history with what they're doing now.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah, it's
and
like, well, it's like now we're living in this like woke time, and that's what Hollywood's all about now.
Yeah.
Just like, you know, 100 years ago, you would see, you know, black people in as only butlers and maids and stuff, and you know, a lot of stuff that needed to change, but
Mhm.
the I don't know, the way they're just overdoing it now. It's just overdoing it in your face, almost smothering you with it, and it's almost like, I respect everyone, and I'm for everyone and freedom of choice and whatever you want to do and stuff. But I don't need to be reminded every day, like,
Yeah.
what my neighbor does in his bedroom. You know,
Exactly.
I don't mean to sound stupid or anything, but
No, you're not. You're right. I mean, I
you
think
know,
a lot of people think that way, but you know, the minority of people are like, oh, we have to push this, we have to push this, we have to, you know, we have to,
yeah.
and it's just like, it's just,
It's just, I wouldn't go around telling everybody what me and my wife do in the bedroom, or what
Yeah.
we, you know, what we believe in, crazy. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just,
Yeah.
it's personal, and I don't
Yeah.
want to wave a flag. You
Well,
know,
that's the problem with, I guess that's the whole thing about, I guess, homosexuality is like it's their sexual preference in everybody's face. That's
Mhm.
the thing about pushing it like that, the whole LBGT message. It's like, and so, you know, and like really heterosexual people never did that, you know. But when they're pushing their point of view, it's about sex, you know. It's like
Mhm.
it's about that, you know. It's
Yeah,
has it's hard to explain, but it's just how it.
yeah, I know what you
And
mean.
I don't have a problem with it. You know, I've never had a problem with
Mhm.
you know, gay people at all. You know, I've had
No,
people friends that were gay. It's just, but that's the thing. It's what it is. It's they're pushing. It's their whole point of view is sexuality. You
mhm.
know, it's their sexual orientation.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I wasn't trying to like, you know, focus just on that group, but
No,
just
no,
an example of like, it has to be this way, or
yeah, yeah,
somebody's going to say something's wrong with the movie, for example, because it doesn't do this, and it's like, but
yeah,
what does it matter? It's a story, you know. You're an imagination. We want to unplug from reality and escape into something. I don't want to be hit upside the head with a political 2x4, you know, for
yeah,
2 hours. I want to, you know, escape that stuff for a minute. So I don't know. Maybe that's why I like older movies, just
yeah.
stories and different stuff to
Well,
escape into, you know, and not worry about what's going on right now, you know.
I can't remember the name of that movie. It came out either the end of last year or the first of this year. It was that that he's the guy was on a he's it was a gay movie that come out, and they came out basically saying, nobody went and watched it, and they're like, and they came out and said, oh yeah, everybody's homophobic because they didn't
was
go
it
see this
Bros?
movie. Bros, yes. And like the movie wasn't made for me, you know. It wasn't made for a straight person.
Yeah.
You know, those movies, but you know, I've seen movie, you know, those movies, if it was just an independent movie, was basically what the movie was.
Hmm.
You know, that's the normal market for those type of movies anyways. It's usually that demographic in movies because it wasn't a blockbuster. You know, don't, you know, there's too much name blaming, calling
Yeah.
people homophobic and white supremacists. And I mean,
Mhm.
all of it's, when it boils down to it, is just, it's just the upper 1% pitting us against each other, you
Well,
know.
and it's always been that way, you know. Hollywood, you know, makes a story. They want it to make some money, and it's not going to appeal to everyone, you know. There's always cut up every little movie, and it's in 10 different genres. And of course, somebody's that loves action movies isn't going to come see a Shakespearean drama, for example, or something. I mean, they may and stuff, but the action fan's not going to flock to that, and vice versa, and But nowadays, it's just made such a big deal on it. Like you were saying, it's just big deal. And it's like everybody just needs to relax. It's like you almost turned me off from wanting to even try to go watch that movie. I mean, it may be a good movie, and for art's sake, give it a chance, and watch it. Maybe one time, maybe not even, but it turns you off to where you don't even want to support the movie or go see it because it's being smothered on you, or something to a certain degree. I don't know. It's just.
Well, they like to claim that they want, like, if you got to be able to see yourself in the movie. Mm-hmm. You can't have any imagination. You got to, whatever your demographic has to be represented in that movie. Mm-hmm. If there has to be a certain kind of superhero. And when you hear people talk, I listen to a lot of guys that are black guys or Latin guys or whatever, they're like, we don't care about that stuff. Men and women, when we grew up, we didn't think about that stuff. We still wanted to be Superman, whether or not he was white or black or, whatever.
Everybody could be that. Anybody could be Batman, growing up. Yeah. And there was no racial lines or sex. Girls could be Batman, and that was cool. It's like, she likes Batman. If I was a little kid, I'd be like, well, she likes Batman. I'm not going to be like, you can't do that, but. Yeah.
I used to like the Village People. Remember the Village People? I used to like the Village People because I used to say to my mom, these guys are cool because they dress up like for Halloween every day. Mm-hmm. I didn't know what what they were doing or anything like that, and I didn't care because I liked their the cool outfits, and they were dancing, and they had cool catchy songs that little kids like me liked.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Well, but yeah, you loved it for the music, and it didn't matter. It didn't matter, and they weren't trying to like shove some kind of agenda down your like 6-year-old ears or anything. It was just, it sounded good. I liked it. They looked funny, and
it was Halloween every day when you seen them, And when you're 7, you thought that was the greatest thing.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of over analyzing of stuff nowadays, and it's just people think too much about stuff, and it's like they forget to enjoy the music or enjoy the movie and stuff because they're too worried about representing something, or I don't know what it is. Everybody's forgot to just have fun, and like comedians can't be funny anymore. That was the big deal. Like we could always poke fun at ourselves and laugh about us because that's what makes us all humans. But now you can't do that because it will offend somebody, you know, so badly,
I never cared. I never cared that like Elton John, I always liked Elton John's music, and I liked Queen. Never thought about Freddie Mercury.
Mm-hmm. But like when I grew up, there was a TV show my mom always watched was Match Game. Okay.
Yeah.
There was nobody in my family that ever resembled Charles Nelson Riley. Okay. Mm-hmm. I didn't know he was gay when I was 7 or 8 watching it. I always thought he was funny. Mm-hmm. And it didn't matter to me because the guy was funny.
Yeah.
That was the whole point. Yeah. It didn't matter. It didn't matter. You were just being entertained. You didn't think any further about it. You just like, okay,
And I remember my uncles just like sitting there laughing too because they thought he was funny. I don't think there was any like, especially with my relatives, they didn't really care. Just as long as somebody was funny and they didn't hurt you.
Yeah. That's the whole thing. We've just forgotten to enjoy ourselves and quit. It's like, man, so much energy and stuff is wasted on all this stuff, and it's like
my mom used to say there's more energy. My mom used to say there's more energy to hate than there is to love. Yeah, she's right.
Yeah. It's just I don't know. I just think we overanalyze everything, and I think the internet has made a lot of stuff worse because, like, just like we have an opinion and we're talking right now. we don't think we're going to influence somebody to do something bad.
No.
We're just talking, freedom of speech, and it's nothing wrong with having a difference of opinion. It was always okay in the past growing up. It's, when a president got elected that I didn't particularly like, I didn't make a big deal about it. It was just like, okay, that's our president. I'm gonna go outside and ride my bike now.
Yeah.
It's like no big deal. And I mean, I guess as you get older, you start, really looking at everything. But I think the presidents we have now are just the same as some 80 years ago. They're more
on blast because there's more social media, there's more news out there. I mean, because in the 70s, I'm 54, but so in the 70s, I remember my next door neighbor can't go anywhere till he sees Cronkite. Cronkite at 6:30. He couldn't do anything until Walter Cronkite was over.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get that today. There's not like a voice of like news out there that you would say, "Oh man, I have to get home and watch."
Mm-hmm.
Because they're not trust. When that's another thing with the news, they all state their opinion.
Mm-hmm.
They don't just flat out tell you the news. Everybody has to have an opinion on it.
Mm-hmm.
Where when you watch the Walter Cronkite,
it was his opinion, and he included everything. He wasn't just trying to be biased or something. He was,
right.
So you trusted him, and stuff. And I think nowadays it's just shock journalism, and grab their attention for 5 minutes. So, and it's not like when Dan Rather would come on, or Tom Brokaw, or somebody, one of the big news places, and you would listen to him.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what he did when he went home, or if he had an affair with his secretary, or what he does. I don't care, and I still don't care. But it seems like it's news now, so I don't get it. I'm easy to get along with, but
so am I. It's like I don't like it. I don't like any kind of like arguments or anything like that. It's like, do what you got to do. I'm here,
mm-hmm.
kind of thing. I just don't get with like the hostility and stuff. It's
mm-hmm.
like but you're right. You can get right on Twitter, or what, X now. You can get on the X and then just say, I don't like this guy, and then wait for comments. It's just like a lot, because in the 90s I was like obsessed with ESPN. I would watch ESPN like all the time, Sports Center and stuff like that, because they made it an entertaining show. Like, you had to watch Dan Patrick and Keith Olbermann before he was the political stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
But now it's just like they all want to be stand-up comics, and then about what political views that they have.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Everybody has an opinion, and I don't know, man. I don't know. I liked it when I was little and we only had 3 channels. Cause if nothing was on, you would go do something. Go outside or play with toys, or you would do something. You weren't waiting for someone to come on and tell you what you had to think. It's people had opinions, and stuff. So I don't know. It's a big rabbit hole. We can talk about this and go in loops and circles all night, but there's just a lot of, and everything gets influenced by stuff like that. So I think that's what we're experiencing with Hollywood right now. I think it's just, I don't know. It has to get worse before it get better. I mean, I believe that.
Do you think this is the worst though it can get?
I don't know. I don't think we've seen the worst yet, because with this strike and everything going on now, once it finally gets back into business again, I mean, what are we going to get? Because based on the past strikes, when they come back, it's usually stuff that's not very good, and it's and who knows? I don't know.
And how many movies do these companies have like in the box? For like the strike, because some of these movies, like what was it? Like Avatar 3 is going to come out in 25. It was supposed to, right?
Mhm.
So that might be pushed back another year or two, right?
Yeah.
Am I
probably.
wrong? Or
Could be. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, because I think there was like when Avatar 2 came out, they had like a whole thing of like the 5 movies for Avatar, what they were going to come out at. And I
Mhm.
think the last one was like 2033.
Mhm.
The last
Well,
one.
well, like when they shot, they may have just shot everything continuously.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I think that's how Peter Jackson did the Lord of the Rings stuff. I think. I don't you can quote me, but that
Yeah,
way they got this massive amount of footage now to just go play with and put it together, and so that might be avoided. He may already have it finished. They just I don't know.
well, I think Lord of the Rings were shot. Each movie was shot independently,
Oh, was it?
but it
Okay.
was all shot together. But they had to shoot the elements to make each movie, because I remember right before like the last 2 movies came out, them talking about they were editing each movie up to the point of
Oh, putting it
releasing
out.
it. It was
Yeah.
basically so. So they there might have been certain elements they shot, some like pickup shots and second unit stuff that was used, that was filmed, and
Mhm.
they may have done that, but
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe I'm thinking of like Game of Thrones, or there was something to where they were just it was an everyday, like they just shot all the time and they didn't really have huge breaks.
Yeah.
And
Didn't
just
they
kept,
do Back to the Future 2 and 3 together like that too?
I think they did. Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
I'm not for sure.
yeah, if you guys remember at the end of, there was kind of an early prequel for Back to the Future 3 at the end of 2, if you remember that.
Yeah, to be continued, and yeah.
It had it had like the opening shots from part 3, like of the western town, and like I think it had the scene where Doc shoots him off of where he's being hung. He shoots him from the noose. I think that scene's in there, and that's it.
Yeah.
So it's pretty
Yeah.
little mini trailer.
I'm still waiting for Dr. Detroit 2, The Return of Mom. They haven't brought that out yet.
Yeah.
Nor will they ever.
Dr. Detroit.
Yeah.
What was that other one? I always get that mixed up, or not mixed up, but I always group it together with
Night Shift.
Night Shift, yeah, with Henry Winkler and
Yeah.
Michael Keaton and stuff like that.
That's a great movie.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Always wanted Shelley Long to make me scrambled eggs, but it never happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has that ever been released on Blu-ray? I can't remember. Did it get
Yeah,
Blu-ray
it was.
released?
I think it just came out recently too. I have it on DVD. I'm fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it might be a Shout Factory release. Maybe.
I have to look that up. I can't remember if I picked that up on Blu-ray or not.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Dr. Detroit's on Blu-ray.
Oh, it is?
I think it is. I don't know. Let me look it up. It was one of the two, because I know it came out.
I used to
on
watch
Blu-ray.
that all the time on cable, Dr. Detroit, when it came out. That's
Oh,
the first time I ever seen the nanny on there in a movie. And then at the video store, I rented this is Spinal Tap, and she was in that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Fran Drescher.
Fran Drescher.
Yeah.
Drescher.
I call her. I'm sorry, Mike. I call her the nanny.
Oh, I can't believe she's like the leader of one of those groups.
Or
After.
the SAG, right?
or
Yeah.
something. Yeah, it's like of all
Fran
people,
Drescher,
it's
yeah.
like I wouldn't think.
Yeah.
I could just picture her going in and go, Mr. Sheffield, your time to vote.
Yeah. Yeah, she was. I don't know. She could be a little annoying at times, but for the most part, pretty funny. It's but I didn't always watch it.
I thought just her character was like a takeoff of Lucy. How Lucy could
Oh,
be annoying too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
God, I just bought a Lucille Ball movie a while back on Blu-ray. It came out. It's the long trailer trip or something like that.
Yeah, the long trailer or something like that.
Yeah, the long trailer. Yeah,
and it's got Des.
it was pretty good. Yeah,
Yeah, Yeah, I remember seeing that on TV a whole lot. I think TNT used to show it back in the day, and it was always on TV.
Yeah.
And the only Lucy movie I have is the one with the Marx Brothers. Room Service.
Room
Is that
Service.
Room Service. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you almost don't recognize her back then, though.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That young Lucy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because it's no, black and white shouldn't matter because I Love Lucy was black and white. But she was just a lot younger.
I think that was one of her first movies too, wasn't it?
Yeah, I believe
Probably.
so. Yeah.
Because she got to be, I know, because I'm a big Marx Brothers nut, and I know she was like really close friends with Harpo like all through the years, and had asked him to come on the Lucy show, even when it was like Desi and Lucy, just to come on, and he did like a couple appearances, I think, on the Lucy show with Gail Gordon. I think I'm not really sure. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I'm a big Marx Brothers fan too. I got a big collection. I just haven't ever made a video, but yeah, I'm a huge Marx Brothers fan. Yeah.
But Harpo was the one that he was kind of the good looking one. He was like the normal looking one.
No, he was the guy with didn't talk, and he had like
the horn.
The horn a lot of times had the big curly hair.
See the blonde. Oh, okay, that was Harpo. Okay.
Yeah.
Which one was that? Zeppo? Zeppo was he the good looking?
Zeppo was the good looking guy.
Yeah,
he's the one that left. He's the one that left later on just to kind of pursue his own.
Well, he was their business manager for a while too.
Yeah,
the brothers' business manager. He was very, very intelligent.
Yeah,
Zeppo.
Yeah.
Chico was the problem of him because he was the gambler, the degenerate gambler. And they had to make a couple more movies that that Groucho really didn't want to, because of Chico's gambling debts.
Yeah, help him out.
Yeah.
Zeppo never really had anything to do, really, except in like Horse Feathers. I think he had a little more to talk and stuff, but I don't know. He was the normal one though.
Yeah, he was the guy that always got the girl. He was always the one that they would pair up with if they had a good looking co-host, or a co-star. There was always he always was the one that kind of would go after her or something like that.
Yeah, he was always wooing the girl.
Yeah. And I always thought it was funny that Margaret Dumont, the lady that always went against Groucho, she was like one of Groucho's like best friends in life till she died.
Yeah,
I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, she was great. She was a great what do you call it? Not really a straight man in a way to his jokes. Yeah, straight woman.
Yeah,
but not in a sexual way. But
no,
I gotta put that out there.
Sort of like Abbott and Costello was.
Yeah. You got the straight man and the
yeah.
But yeah, I always loved the Marx Brothers and stuff. I should do a video and stuff because I even got laser discs and.
Oh, do you really? Wow, that's cool.
All that stuff, some VHSs and.
Yeah, I think I might have the Marx Brothers set on laser. I'm not sure.
Yeah, there's a set on. Yeah, there's a set on Blu-ray. And
yeah, I have those for sure.
Yeah,
I think I have some on DVD as well.
Yeah, and then Arrow Films put out a set of the first 5 Paramount movies.
Kidding.
Yeah, it's a Region 2. You gotta have an all region player. I'm really glad I got a all region player back about 5-6 years ago because man, there's so many good stuff out there in other countries,
Well, for a long time, I didn't have one, and then it just kind of opens up everything when you're buying stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You see that Region B, you're like, well, I can buy it,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Did I send you some info on one time?
Yeah.
I think you asked about it. Yeah. Yeah, I haven't had any problems with the ones I got. I bought them on eBay from a company that's selling them through eBay, and they just mod them and resell them. But yeah, I've never had any issues.
Yeah, hopefully these companies don't stop making Blu-ray players here in the next several years. You know, I know some companies have talked about it, but hopefully somebody steps in and keeps making them.
Yeah, that would.
Is everything going? You know, I say there's there are fewer and fewer bought every day.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean the Bruce Lee 4K box set sold out like real quick, that's kind of a good sign for physical media because if for them to sell, I don't know if it was limited to 3,000 copies or more, but it's sold out the first week, I think.
I ran in.
That's the
Go
thing
ahead.
you got too, John. The video store one sold out really quick too, right?
Oh yeah, that one.
Video store. Video
The
store.
Arrow.
Oh, I didn't get that. I
okay.
didn't get
I
that.
thought you did pick that up. Sorry.
No.
There's a couple of good ones
But-
on there, but I didn't think buy the whole box for just a couple of them. But I don't know. Maybe I should have bought it because that was a cool box. How they had it set up.
Yeah, some of this stuff getting expensive though. I can afford to drop maybe that much money on one thing maybe a month, but I can't drop, especially if I want to keep buying the individual stuff. You know.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's
But,
what
you know,
happened to me. Yeah, July just had a bunch of stuff came out, and I didn't pre-order it, and I thought it would still be out at least a week or two after until I got paid again, at least. But it was sold out.
Yeah, I bought for some reason. I bought that Black Emmanuel set from Severin.
Oh yeah, that's massive, and it's got like what 80 movies or something on it.
No, I don't have that many, but I don't know.
20?
It's got a lot, about 20 movies or something.
20,
like that,
that's still a lot of movies.
Yeah, I watched through several more of them, Kenny, but most of them were just fast forward watches because they were.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but the thing is like after Black. Well, I watched Black Cobra, which is actually it has Jack Palance in it, and it's a decent movie. You know, for a movie, it's decent. You know, it's just got the softcore stuff in it, but it's not real heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's Black Velvet and it's Black Velvet's a regular movie for the most part, except softcore.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of those Skinamax movies from like the 70s and 80s that I stayed up to watch on Friday and Saturday nights.
Yeah.
They did have heavy story, and then about like the 30-minute mark, boobs, like that. So
yeah, that's how these are probably a little heavier on the nudity, but it's not really a lot of sex in it. It's really just mostly, it's front, full frontal, but not, it's 70s Bush, like, it's full nudity, but nothing else. Well, here's what I was getting at. Like after that, there's like a couple more movies. I can't think the names of them. But they are like they just basically took Black Cobra and just in one of the other movies, there was one that was an actual porn in there.
Oh wow!
But the main actress, that girl, she doesn't do any scenes. It's literally they took like Black Cobra and shot a few more scenes and got rid of Jack Palance and just used stock footage basically. And made a whole nother movie, but then they cut it in with these like porn scenes. So it was a porno, but it didn't have like her in it. I was like, man, I want to see her getting
I was gonna say, thank God they took Jack Palance out of there, and he's not, getting it on. Or
he doesn't in the original movie. He's just like it plays kind of an old man. That dude has he always been old? I think he was old in the 30s.
Yeah, he always seems to be older. But see, I was going to say the only Emmanuel movies I remember were like, what was it, Sylvia Kristel or something? Is it those movies also in that box set?
No, it's just the Black Emmanuel. I'll show it to you. I'll get it.
Oh, okay. Because I remember there's must be a ton of Emmanuel movies then, because there was an actress named Sylvia Kristel or something. She was in a lot of those Skinamax movies, right, 70s and 80s and I know she did at least 5 of them, at least.
And the other one I was thinking of, Lady Chatterley Lover.
Oh yeah, those too. Yeah.
Because
Adam West girls in most of them.
Movies.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a cool set though. It's a cool box set.
I can't show you the inside. Like
Yeah.
literally, it's.
Yeah.
I kind of. I can redact it. Okay.
Yeah. But see, that tells you right there that there's a market for that.
Mhm.
For a company to put out a huge set like that, they know people are going to buy it. Somebody's asking for it. Somebody's wanting to see it.
Because
So
people our age watched it when we were in the 80s.
yeah,
You know?
Yep. About it would
Okay.
be about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. There'd always be one on.
Yep, you're right.
Most weekends.
Yeah, it's 15 discs, 24 feature films, 2 soundtrack compilation CDs, 40 plus hours of special features, and it has a book in here with it.
40 hours of special features?
That's what it says. Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
So-
they were selling for an extra $100. They were selling like some kind of. It just had a bunch of junk, really. Like how they'll have like a accompaniment package with some of these movies where it has like a, I don't know, you might call it like a press kit type thing, but it just had like a manual. It was generic. I was like, I don't know why people buy that stuff for. It's like I hate because anytime I get stuff like that, little like the souvenir stuff like that, it ends up in a box eventually, and I never see it again because it's.
Mhm.
Anyways, it's an Emmanuel too. This will go on my shelf, but I'm not going to display something from a, softcore porn on my wall.
Is that Vinegar Syndrome? Is that Vinegar
no.
or Arrow?
Severin.
Oh, Severin. Okay.
Yeah. When I seen it, I was like, I remember those movies from the day. That'd be interesting to have. For what I paid for it, it was kind of crazy, but it's cool having it. It's cool having this stuff on it.
Hey, it may turn into a big collector's item one day. You never know.
Yeah, I don't know how many they sold. I think it officially just came out this week, but I got it like 2 weeks ago because I ordered it from Severin and they sent out everything early.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it must be pretty popular because I've seen a lot of videos on it. A lot of people are covering it,
Oh, yeah.
on YouTube. But yeah.
Probably a lot of people that never seen it, bunch of kids, younger guys.
They're probably like, oh, man. What is
Yeah,
this?
I hadn't made a video in a while. We had that tornado up here and we had a bunch of damage there for a while. That took a couple weeks out and I just haven't got back in the groove. I got to do one here soon, but like this week I hadn't bought much.
Yeah, it's like I have a lot of movies and like I almost forget sometimes when I go look and I get excited discovering a movie in my own collection, like it's like, damn, I'm gonna watch this tonight, and so I've been doing some stuff, some like movies I like to rewatch. I've been covering those and been getting stuff off the shelf, so I'm glad I have rewatchable stuff, like, oh yeah, I'll watch this again. I didn't just buy it, watch it one time and now, but yeah, it's sometimes you can freak yourself out when I think I have like 3,000 movies. So it's like eventually you're going to find something you forgot about.
Oh yeah.
And be like, yeah.
Well, I think all of us are pretty good about what we buy, we watch though. We buy stuff to watch actually instead of just to collect it. Mm-hmm. I know I'm bad about talking about that stuff all the time, but it aggravates me. I see people, it's like they have as many movies as we do and they started collecting 5 years ago. And I'm like, there's no way
Yeah. I am picky. I am picky now. I mean, I'll double dip and buy another edition if it's something I'm a huge fan of. Like if they put out another Marx Brothers set, I'll buy it. Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, the Spaghetti, that trilogy, I'll buy it. The Randolph Scott movies, I'll probably rebuy it. That's just stuff I like. And I'll double dip on, but for the most part, I'm pretty picky, because.
Speaking of,
well, the other thing is space. I start running out of space, and it's like I want to display these, and it's like I don't want to put them in a box one day. I want to keep displaying the ones I want to display. But
speaking of, Mike, I broke down and bought that. I wasn't going to, and then I did anyways.
Yeah, I got that too. I had to get that.
Yeah.
But the thing is, there's only 3 movies on there that's 4K, and 2 of them are just Blu-rays.
Really?
From what I understand, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure about that. I don't know why they did it like that, but because Mill Creek just released them last year in a Mill Creek set, and I got that. But they weren't 4Ks, and they didn't have any extras on it.
Well, I got that too, but that was the one that had it. It had those movies plus a bunch of others. It had like 10 movies on it.
Yeah, it had some other ones too. But there was a Volume 1 and a Volume 2 DVD set of those movies by Mill Creek. They basically just put all those onto the Blu-ray.
Well, I have that Indicator set.
Yeah,
that Blu-ray set. So I've actually got it like 3 times. Those movies.
Yeah,
and I that's why I wasn't going to buy it, because the indicators look damn good. And I'll be practically honest, I've only watched one movie off here so far.
Mhm.
So I've seen them all the movies, but
yeah,
the first movie, what did I watch? The Tall T. I watched that one, and I don't know if it's much better on 4K than it is.
Yeah, I know black and white movies look good on 4K that were filmed on film.
Yeah.
And stuff, but
it might be a little darker here and there. The blacks here and there might be darker, but I don't know if it's probably the same transfer. That's the thing. And, but
more or less, yeah.
I bought it during the 50% off sale, and I was like, well, the reason I bought it is I ran into a guy in Barnes and Noble, and I got. He had one of those baskets. I think I told Kenny this story, but he had one of those shopping baskets full of Criterion. I mean, it was full to the top buying Criterion.
Yeah.
But I got talking to him, and I went over, and they had it on the shelf over there, and I was like, "Hey, man, I didn't talk to him at first because he was wearing a mask and all that stuff, and he was like, so I didn't talk to him at first, and I was like, "Hey, do you have this?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Well, I have the Indicator. I'm just wondering if it's looked good." And he said, "Oh, yeah, it looks great." But I think a lot of people have never had it on any other way. That's the only thing they've seen it. So, so I was like, well, everybody kept ranting and raving over it. So I think Serial at Midnight said the same thing. I seen his Instagram post about it, and I was like, damn, I think I'm going to have to buy it. And
yeah.
I did.
I trust Heath's opinion pretty much. I mean, I know he gets a lot of free stuff from Kino and stuff, but I still respect his opinion and stuff. Not religiously, but for the most part. But yeah, if you still got the Indicator set, that's the one to hold on to it with this other set, because it still has more extras on it, different extras, and stuff. So. But yeah, they do. They look really good on all these different ones I bought. Even the DVDs I have of it they look pretty good to me. I mean, good and sharp, and it's not faded or anything. And
there's been some good copies of it preserved over the years.
Yeah, we took care of. Yeah.
But some of these movies that come out, they like something. Oh, I think it was one of those Emmanuel movies. It wasn't it had the intro of the movie was from VHS, because the intro of the movie had got lost and the rest of it was filmed, but they'd stretched it so it looked like crap, and then it was so the rest of the movie looked normal, but that's why I said I was fast forwarding through them, because I just wanted to see what was added in there, and for the nude scenes and stuff, obviously, but they were just they just recut other movies, and then after that there was a second movie that was done exactly the same way, so they just, I don't know why the heck they did that for.
Yeah, I guess they were probably beat up. They probably made their way around. Back in the day, they probably don't have a pristine
beat up or beat off. No.
Yeah, it's all stuck together and stuff. It's
I gotta look at the name of one of them here, because I can't think of it. Um,
Yeah, I was telling Kenny when you
See
walked
here.
off that there was a bunch with like Sylvia Christel or whatever. I remember those. They were, I guess, they were in the '80s or something. And
Yeah, late '70s, early '80s, I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I know she
Yep.
did quite a few of those.
Who,
I thought that was all of them. I just thought that was the Emmanuel movies. I had no idea that, about the whole Black Emmanuel series, and I didn't realize,
Yeah, I mean, I remember the regular Emmanuel movies as well, but they, for some reason, they haven't. As far as I think, they have a couple of the movies on Severin, but they've never released a set. So maybe that's coming in the future.
Yeah,
you
probably
know.
so. Yeah, if this one's a big hit, sells well, I'm sure they'll.
Because,
do
like
that.
you were saying, there was a bunch of those as well.
Mhm.
There was another one, another series I used to remember called like Lady Chatterley. So you remember that?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the same thing. I think even she was the same actress in those. A lot of, I believe she was, because she did a lot of movies like that. Those kind of soft core.
Yeah, Harley McBride
Harley
was
McBride.
Lady Chatterley.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because she was married. Believe it or not, she was married to Richard Belzer.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's pretty interesting.
I just remember that because Batman was on it.
Oh,
Adam West was in those first couple of Lady Chatterley movies.
really?
Oh, wow.
He wasn't he was like the goofy uncle or something like that would come in and just like kind of like do the funny parts.
Yeah.
And then like he'd be like looking for her and she'd be getting like nailed in the cottage before while looking for her.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. But yeah, I think like my grandpa used to copy everything back in the '80s. Like VCRs were new, and he would have all these cases. They were black cases, and he would just write on there what they were. And I would go through those as a kid, and those names I would keep seeing them and stuff. So I guess he taped some of those things off Cinemax, Grandpa.
Yeah.
It's like, but I knew they weren't bad. I knew they weren't like hardcore or anything. But and I think he also just taped stuff. He would just tape movies and stuff. I don't even know if he watched them really, but
yeah.
But he had a massive collection of recorded movies.
Be fun to go through them now, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
To see what was on them.
Yeah. They're probably deteriorated by now.
Yeah.
There's a big push for that stuff. We had that one girl on. Well, I don't know if it's a big push, but there's these nostalgia people out there who, I mean, I guess we are too. We like Laserdisc, but there's people. I just wouldn't be too. I'm just not nostalgic for VHS that much. It just
yeah.
We had that one girl on who makes like new VHSs, like puts new copies of the movies on there, and she does all the artwork for her slip covers and everything. I mean, she's real talented, but I'm
yeah. It comes down to the space issue. It's like I have a few VHSs. I got some Marx Brothers and this and that, but I don't have enough to fill a shelf up, I would say. But they just take up so much room, Like Laserdiscs do too.
Yeah, the worst thing about Laserdisc is just the weight of them. Like when you go to move, if you have to move, it's like vinyl records. It's worse than vinyl. They're heavier than vinyl.
Yeah, a whole crate of them would be 25, 30 pounds, maybe.
Yeah, I've moved like 3 times in the last year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I had a Laserdisc and a Laserdisc player, and I just shoved my Laserdisc to Goodwill. I just gave them the Goodwill because I couldn't take them. And it's like, oh man, I should have kept them, but like the weight They were like I had them in like one of those crates that you get at Walmart, like with the records and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it was like probably about 30 pounds.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That,
Yeah.
and especially when you're going through. And I'm pretty close to you with my Blu-ray and DVD collection. So it's like I just have a room. That's why I do these segments called "What's in the Box," because I've moved and I threw everything, all my collection, in a box. So I'm just opening it up, going, "Oh yeah, I have this one now," or I have that one, because you kind of forget after a while,
Yeah, that's the big thing with me. It's just running out of space, but in a good way though, it keeps me
from buying.
well, yeah, that, or I would sell off ones that I don't really watch or really don't need to keep, and then I can put something in its place. Take one off and put one in, or kind of keeps it rotating to where it's not overflowing everywhere. But it's a balancing act to be a collector and not have a huge room dedicated to just physical media and stuff, because
I went to Half Price Books a while back and found a few. I don't know why I'm bringing these out. I've had them forever, but I found a few new laser discs. This one, I thought this was a cool find.
Oh wow, yeah.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
I always liked MGM's artwork on their releases. They always did really memorable artwork on those.
Yeah, I actually never pulled the disc out for some reason, but this was still inside. I don't know what the deal was with it. I don't know if that came with it or. That's weird. I never seen it.
Yeah, I've found some weird stuff like that too. Find it in a store somewhere, and
it looks like somebody's put in there. It looks photocopied.
I found one disc. I picked it up somewhere, and a guy had like a log he was doing. Like every time he would watch whatever disc it was, he would write it down. He would put the date on there and stuff. So I think the one I had, he had watched it like 6 times or something. So I was like, okay, that's dedication.
That's nice.
Yeah, that's cool. I don't know. A lot of their artwork, I just think it's really cool.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing about the laser discs that are pretty awesome. This is cool here. It's not in great shape, but it was interesting.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's really nice.
Yeah, see, it's kind of rough on the top.
Yeah,
those double disc.
Yeah, I think that Pioneer, that one was put out by Pioneer. They did some pretty good releases. They were supposed to be high quality or something back then.
Yeah. Pioneer Special Edition.
Yeah, it's probably CAV, isn't it? Like the whole movie CAV.
I can't tell.
It might be.
It's 2 discs.
Yeah.
It's CAV. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So see, then you only get 30 minutes on each side. So that was the down thing about that. If you're watching a long movie, you'd have to get up and flip it, and flip it and stuff. But I don't know. I kind of, it gave me a chance to go to the bathroom or get a soda or something, and then come back to it. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's a. I've been thinking about trying to find that on DVD, but that's a laser disc I've never seen before. I've never seen that on laser.
Nope.
No.
That's where he's like, he's a detective. He did those detective movies in the late '60s.
Yeah,
I think he did like 3 or 4 of them.
This is.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that movie.
Yeah, I hate these cheap inserts. Just the plastic inserts.
Yeah,
I replace all those with plastic poly, or excuse me, paper polys. That has the paper sleeve with the poly liner.
Yeah, people would call those elephant condoms or something.
Yeah.
I'm on a Laserdisc group, and that's what they call them, elephant condoms or something. It's like, I don't like them either. you have to like fold the edges and stuff just to kind of get it to go down in there, and it's a pain in the butt.
I think the
Yeah.
first Laserdisc I bought was Usual Suspects,
Mhm.
and I liked it so much because it had the commentary from the director.
Oh yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
that was really cool.
Yeah, that's where it all started at, was with the laser discs and stuff. I think Criterion actually started it. They did the first one. I think it was King Kong or Citizen Kane. It was the first one they did, or the second one had a commentary, and that was a brand new thing on stuff. So
Yeah.
I have a lot of useless knowledge.
Yeah.
Well, King Kong, wasn't it the first Criterion release?
I always get those mixed up. It's either the first or second, and Citizen Kane was the other.
I think I've asked you that 20 times.
No, I think you're right. King Kong, I think, was the first one, and then Citizen Kane's the second, I believe. I still get that mixed up. I don't know.
I still haven't alphabetized. The problem is this shelf I have down, it's like right here on the ground. It's blocked by. I've got a little shelf here I use to set my movies where I'm talking to you, and it's got a bunch of junk on it. And I've got another shelf over here. It's got another little computer on it, and it's blocked, so it makes me not able to get into my laser disc. So it's kind of the reason why I've kind of quit watching laser discs, because of that. And it's not because I want to. It's just it's pain in the butt. I don't have enough room in this room. It sucks. Space sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, every so often I'll put a laser in and watch it. But
I need to do that.
Not that often though. And I really haven't bought any new ones in a very long time. You know, I basically got a lot of the ones I wanted. You know, there were certain Criterion's ones I wanted, and, like Boogie Nights, and was one of the ones I wanted to find, and everything, stuff like that. And then
was that a Boogie Nights? Was it a Criterion laser disc?
Yeah, it's
really.
If you remember the first DVD edition of it, where it's in that slip case, it's brown and it opens up. The artwork, everything's exactly like that on the Criterion one. So,
oh wow, nice.
So they just carried all that over when it came out on DVD and stuff. But
I'm pretty sure I have a copy of it on laser, but I don't think I have the Criterion.
Yeah,
I think I just had the regular.
Yeah, it's kind of a late release and stuff, and that's why it took me a long time to find it. And people were asking way too much for it. And like I got a copy of Halloween, the first Halloween, on Criterion laser, and it goes for a lot of money still.
Yeah.
So
our prices, have they shot up in laser disc here recently? Because I haven't really kept an eye on eBay. So
I haven't really myself lately, but there's still, I mean, there's new collectors every day coming into it, and you know, jacking the prices up and everything. It's kind of like toy collecting. Like I was collecting some G.I. Joe stuff from the 80s, and people just, man, they just put outrageous prices on it that it just kills the whole fun of it, you know, because they don't have to ask that much for it, you know. It's
definitely. Well, everybody they want to get rich quick, so they got to gouge the prices what they're selling on there. Just want to, or make a quick score, you know, on something. So there's so many things. Like eBay's really bad about it, but you know, it's a free market, I guess. So it's good with it.
You just got to kind of compare prices, kind of go back and forth with like Amazon and some other places, and some of it's luck. You know, you might find something. You know, like you told me, like you told me that one was $3.99 on Amazon, so I was like, oh, cool. See, I didn't know that, and so the French Dispatch. You were saying earlier, so I was like, oh, cool. I'm gonna jump on that because I haven't seen.
That's some good deals on that stuff. So, stuff like that comes up. You know, I find stuff like that all the time. It'd be real cheap and kind of nice finding something like that. So
the 4K of Heat, that Michael Mann movie, it's still $7.99 on Amazon, It's like
Really?
very cheap for a 4K, and I can't believe it's so so cheap, and it stayed that
Pretty
price.
cool.
Yeah, I got it for $4 on Blu-ray, so I was happy with that.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks pretty good. That's another example of the Blu-ray looked good. But he was the director actually went and he did something to it. He actually did a different color timing or something on it, so it kind of made it worth getting because it was different.
Oh,
But it still looks good though, and that's a great price to pick it up,
Yeah, no kidding. I just picked it up.
Ah.
It was cheap. I didn't have it before.
Well, the other thing was that movie with Brad Pitt. It's called Ad. Was it Ad?
Ad Astra.
Astra.
Astra. Yeah, that's like $8.99 too on 4K, and I've been tempted to get it, but I can't remember ever seeing it before. I don't know. It's a good sci-fi type movie, but yeah, it's dirt cheap also for the 4K, which is pretty cool,
Yeah, I think I got it a while
There's a couple
back.
out there now that are like still really expensive. Like there was one that I thought that was my favorite movie last year was called The Outfit with Rylance, Mark Rylance.
Mm-hmm.
And that's still like $15, $16, to get.
Wow.
And that's been out over a year and a half now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's a good one, Mike. I recommend that. The Outfit.
The Outfit.
Check it out on Peacock. It's on Peacock.
Okay. Yeah. There's a few things on there now. I can check it out, but I think Lionsgate always has good prices on their 4Ks. They're pretty consistent. I've noticed a lot of those I see like at Walmart. There'll be like these direct to video type westerns and different stuff like that. And Lionsgate pretty much puts a lot of those out.
And I like how what's Vestron marks their Blu-rays for $12. I think that's just great.
Yeah,
because you're going to get more people, buying their product.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I have a few of those. Well, I did that video of the Vestrons, and after I made that, I realized I still had like 5 or 6 more.
Oh, really?
So I guess I'm going to do a part 2 sometime or another because I was like, how could I forget that? But yeah, that's all that retro line they're doing, and I think Mill Creek did something like that too. With it looks like an old rental case, video case and stuff, and
Heart and Soul. If you guys haven't seen, that's another one, Heart and Souls with Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, okay,
really, really good movie.
Yeah, that's from like the late 80s or something.
93.
93. Okay.
Yeah, I really recommend that. It's either 91 or 93. Heart and Souls, and it has Elizabeth Shue in it, so that's always a thumbs up for me.
Oh yeah. She's hot to trot. I don't know. I haven't seen her lately though, but
she's in The Boys.
Oh,
on the Amazon show. And she plays a freak in that show, let me tell you. Wow. Because I've always had a crush on her since I was a kid. And my brother said, Ken, you gotta check out The Boys. And I seen her, and it was like, she's like this guy, what's his name? Star Blazer or something? The lead guy, the blonde-headed guy. She's like, he's like breastfeeding her. Like, she's breastfeeding him and stuff. This is a grown-ass man. It's like really nuts.
Yeah, that's pretty kinky.
Yeah. For an Amazon show, too.
Yeah.
But I can't remember what his name is. I want to say Star-Lord or something like that. But, yeah, that really just took me out when I seen her doing that. I was like, whoa.
Have you all seen the Renfield movie? I've been wanting to watch it. I just haven't.
It's all right. Yeah.
I think that's on. I think that's on Peacock too. Because I was gonna pick up the Blu-ray of it, and I think it's on Peacock. It's on one of those streaming.
What's the name of that again, Mike?
Renfield. It's got Nicolas Cage. He's like,
oh, okay, the Dracula movie.
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. I
Okay.
like it.
Yeah, I have to check it out. Yeah. He's been in a lot of various stuff, man. He likes to try different stuff, because like I watched, what was that one with? It's called Mandy, I think.
Yeah, that was good.
It was good, but it was like blowing your mind in a weird way. It was kind of like David Lynch meets something. It was wild. Visually, it was just like, wow, this thing is crazy looking.
Yeah, whoever made the filmmakers very much were David Lynch fans because it definitely had a David Lynch feel to it.
Yeah, they had to be. Yeah.
Color of Space is the same way. If you ever see Color of Space,
I actually have it, but I haven't watched it just yet.
Oh, okay, that's Mind F too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's pretty good as well.
Yeah, and I also got a Western with him in it called the old way. I think I haven't watched it yet. I haven't watched it yet. I think I'll just watch those ones all at once. I'll just have a double feature or something and catch up on them. Because
speaking of Nicolas Cage, I like that one that he just did like last year, the Power of Likeness of Being a Star or something, where he's basically himself.
Oh, yeah.
What the hell is that called? I have it in my collection, and I have it.
Yeah, I do too. What is it?
I'll tell you this.
I can't think of the name either. It's
The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That movie is hysterical.
Yeah, and there's a movie that he's in called Pig that I heard it's supposed to be really good too, where like somebody kidnaps his pig or something, and he goes.
Yeah, I heard that was kind of odd.
Yeah, like odd, or it's like a revenge flick or something about it. So I haven't seen it yet. But
he's just working up a storm, but
yeah.
Didn't he? Is he one of the guys that lost a bunch of He lost a bunch of bunch of money several years ago. And,
I believe when he got divorced, his wife pretty much cleaned him out.
Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah,
well, I think he's doing better than some of the Bruce Willis movies, though. That's been going straight to video because he's been doing a ton of stuff, and some of them are not very good. Some of them are good, But
well, the Bruce Willis stuff pretty much came out that it was just literally a cash grab there at the end because he developed that brain issue that what does he have, something like Parkinson's some type of disease like that, cognitive disability. Yeah.
It like slows him down, like his thinking and talking, and it slowly I guess he deteriorates that way. I believe
because before he came out with and announced that, like there was a lot of rumors going around that he was wearing like earpieces and something didn't seem right on the sets, things like that, and so he eventually came out with a statement saying he's developed this, but that was kind of the rumor, like he was trying to have like a cash grab, have extra money for his kids, I guess.
Yeah.
After he wasn't able to work anymore. So it's kind of sad seeing those guys like that get like that.
Yeah, they were
I seen one that he did with, I love Michael Chiklis, the guy from the Shield.
Oh,
and
yeah.
He did one with Michael Chiklis, and I kind of knew he was kind of sick just by looking at him.
Yeah.
Because this was supposed to span like a week, that like Michael Chiklis and this girl were on the run, and Bruce Willis must have did all of his scenes in like 2 hours, because in the span of the week he's wearing the same suit, had the same shirt, everything, and Michael Chiklis was dressed the same every scene, and it was just like either he's Monk or he's doing, or I'm missing something. And then it came out that the poor man was sick, so I'm like, okay, I understand it now.
Yeah. That's sad. But yeah, it's kind of sad. A lot of our big stars that we've grown up with are all getting older, and I just wonder about the next generation, you know, like when the Clint Eastwoods are gone and I mean, Jack Nicholson's retired, but once, you know, he's gone and like
Dustin Hoffman.
Dust Hoffman, Gene Hackman, people like that, you know, they're all semi-retired anyway, but I don't know if anybody can come close to their, you know.
There's no, like, if you watch, I was watching, it was something on YouTube. They were talking about like in the 90s when you'd watch the Academy Awards, you had all these, like, it was like pomp and circumstance, you know, to see like, oh, here's the stars, you know.
Mm-hmm.
There's really no big stars out there now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Hollywood's trying to make, that's why I think the movies are so bad. They're really trying to make a star, but they really can't.
Yeah.
Well, and you got YouTube and those type of people out there now, you know, that getting famous. So it's a different type of celebrity these days. Everything keeps getting more and more like, I guess, micro sized. Like everybody, the audience, you know, everybody, if you have a niche, then you're going to be able to find something that suits your taste, you know, whatever, if you're watching something or listening to something. So everything's like, all these little niche things are becoming popular, like music and things like that. You don't have to just listen to the radio. It's becoming that way in the movies too. I think eventually, it'll become more and more like that, where we see a lot more regionalized or independent productions, smaller scale.
Right.
Yeah. Because I think like streaming and then YouTube and platforms like that have just spread them out, you know, and there's so many of them now that it's one day it's not going to be like, we look at Hollywood as what you strive to be, that go to Hollywood, become famous and be prestigious, work with good directors and actors and stuff. But nowadays anybody can do stuff, you know, anybody can start making a movie and become popular. And like you said, John, it's, you know, it's I don't know, maybe it'll just be blurred one day to where we don't really have a traditional Hollywood type, or at least to how we think it is, you know? So I don't know. It's going to be interesting next 20 years, I would say, if not sooner.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Well, you guys,
I'm sorry, you can't really think of a big star now.
Mm-mm.
Like there's like no Tom Hanks out there or Denzel Washington's or you know, DiCaprio. I mean, DiCaprio is almost 50.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's,
you know,
well, he's part of that next generation. I think he would be like we've grown up with him, and he's going to be the next Jack Nicholson. Maybe, you know, not to compare him, but like that kind of actor, you know, where he's going to be one of the big actors moving forward and stuff like that. But yeah, I can't think of a lot of people like just off the top of my head.
I know the actress they're trying to shove down your throat is that Zendaya girl. Mm-hmm. That's in that HBO show. Yeah. And they're trying to shove her down your throat, but I can't think of any. I mean, because you think of like the young actors out there, like Bradley Cooper is almost 45.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Chris Pratt's 42, 43. Mm-hmm. So they might look young, but they're not young. You know, it's not like in the 80s when we had like Tom Hanks was like 29, 30 when he got popular.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know.
Plus, I don't think there's that many like heartthrob type actors.
Yeah.
You know, like in the 80s, you had like Tom Hanks or Tom Cruise as a heartthrob, and
where you had what's his name, Christian Slater.
Christian Slater and all those guys and stuff. But yeah, I guess we'll be seeing DiCaprio for the next 30 years. You know, because he might be one of the main drawing. I mean, he's a good actor overall. I think he does good movies overall. I think he picks certain ones.
Like you just said, he picks certain movies.
He's in that. He's in the position that he can just pick something. You know, he's not needing money by any chance, so he can sit back and pick and wait and do whatever. But yeah,
Well, fellas, you guys about ready to wrap it up here? It's 2 hours.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Might go over there and play the
Flies, yeah.
piano for a little bit.
All right. Sit by the fire.
Yeah, it's about throw a log on the fire, dim the lights.
Yeah, I was going to ask you earlier. I was like, "Oh, who's on your couch back there?" It looks like somebody's on the couch. There's a blanket or something.
Yeah,
I was like,
I've been in the doghouse. I've been sleeping on the couch.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wish
Yeah,
that was my house.
Yeah. But
Yeah, I've had fun, man. I guess
yeah,
we'll
me too.
same bat channel, same bat time next week, or try to
Yeah.
do
Sounds
this
good.
again.
Sounds good to me. I'll talk to you guys later. So
All right, man. Yeah,
everybody, thanks for showing
Have
up.
a good
and
night,
We'll talk to you
guys.
guys later.
yeah.
Yeah.
Take it easy, Kenny, John.
Take care.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Yeah, see ya.